you love. Our legal team insisted we mention this, and hey, keeping the attorneys happy keeps us on the air. So thanks for tuning in and being part of the Regional Radio family. We're proud to bring local, compelling content to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, and the show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and my next guest in the show here is Matt Hart, the Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Reed. Great to be with you and all the listeners this morning.
Yes, and it's good to have you on as well. And yeah, let's get right into it. A lot of things to talk about, and I want to start with the big topic that we spent most of your last time on here talking about, the situation involving the proposed data center, Meridian Technology Park, as it was known. A lot has changed since then, most notably the fact that it looks like this project is now not going forward. First off, just as kind of an overview, what ended up leading to them abandoning the endeavor?
Yeah. So, we want to make sure everybody knows fully, what's going on with Eagle Rock Partners and their proposed, as they labeled the Meridian Technology Park, which was a data center campus that they were proposing to possibly build in Christian County. It was, for those folks that don't know, again, this is in just north of Clarksdale, Illinois, just north of Route 48, just south of Taylorville. But they were looking at an area down there and had several meetings with the community, had come before the county board several times. And about a month or so ago, got a phone call from the developers as they'd communicated us, as they also communicated to the county board and to other officials that they decided against moving forward in Christian County. And the main reason for that was they were planning to get electricity from a proposed power plant in Sangamon County near Pawnee. There is a proposal near Pawnee for a natural gas powered power plant, and that's where they were planning to get that electricity from there. Because as you can imagine, a data center requires a lot of electricity, and in 2026, when you build things like that, you have to come in with your own electricity basically lined up. And when their plan for the electricity from Pawnee, when that natural gas power plant found out or discovered, they decided that they were not going to move forward with their power plant due to state regulations. There are in 2021, the state of Illinois and the legislature passed what's called CEJA, CEJA, and what that did was it capped when you can burn coal and when you can burn natural gas to generate electricity. And right now, under CEJA, you can only burn natural gas to generate electricity until 2045. And the power plant developer in Pawnee said they would like to be able to, operate this power plant more than 15 years. That's not long enough for them to recoup the cost that it takes to build a power plant. And so because of that, the power plant in Pawnee decided that they were not going to move forward. And then, of course, with Eagle Rock planning on that electricity and no longer having that electricity, they said, well, they're now not going to plan on moving forward in Christian County. So that's kind of the background on why ultimately they made the decision to not move forward. So Eagle Rock, again, officially, notified everyone and said they're not going to move forward. And now that's, we know that's the current situation. I don't know anything beyond that. I have not talked to any other data center developers of the like. So as far as we know, that's where we are currently.
In terms of, you mentioned that law that was passed in 2021, and now the Pawnee power plant is in itself no longer going ahead. Surely they would have known about that law and kind of factored that into their decisions. Why did it take so long? Do you know about that?
Yeah, so the developer in Pawnee was hoping, as the legislature in the spring of 2026, they were directed to try to address this, because it's not just power plants, it's not just this power plant, it's overall. The governor and legislative leaders know that what they passed in 2021 under CEJA is not a sustainable path. It doesn't allow the state to generate enough electricity for what our needs are going to be decades into the future. And when we talk about electricity, and it takes, years and sometimes a decade or more to develop new power sources or new electric generation. You have to make decisions very early on. And what was passed in 2021, again, that was in 2021, and they said no natural gas in 2045. Well, that seemed like a long time. Well, now here we are in 2026. If that power plant, started construction today, it wouldn't be until 2030 that they would be online generating electricity. And they were hopeful that the legislature was going to change that date from 2045 out into the future. And I think that's what they were hoping for. The legislature adjourned on May 31st. They didn't address that. And so that's what then precipitated them to make their decision that they were not going to move forward at this time with that plant. Now, all that being said, Reed, the legislature comes back for 2 weeks in November and the last week in November and the first week in December. The legislature also starts back up in January. So there is a chance that they could address that. And they are having meetings right now. We know they've been meeting over the summer. We know that the energy folks and the labor folks and everybody involved, and not just data centers, but electricity in general, we know that they're all talking because they're trying to address the issue of what they did in 2021, and it definitely has to be. Some changes have to be made. But again, as I always say in Springfield, nobody does anything in Springfield until they absolutely have to. And right now, that's kind of what's going on. We'll wait and see when the legislature meets in November and December if they do change our policy that was set in 2021, which could then precipitate changes in electricity generation in the state, which then could lead to change in data center development in the state.
All right. So looks like there's plenty more that could change down the line. We'll see what happens. I'm talking with Matt Hart. Go on.
No, that's all.
Oh, okay. Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, is my guest in this part of the show. I do want to move on to another topic that you're keeping an eye on at the CCEDC, the Taylorville High School Fine Arts Auditorium. I know you spoke about that, I think, a couple times ago when you were on. I actually saw one of the design renderings at one of the school board meetings. Where are we at with that project?
Yeah, this is just really exciting, and it's going to be a great project, not only for the schools, but for Taylorville and Christian County, overall. And I think, a lot of people know, I myself graduated from Taylorville High School, and they didn't have an auditorium, and they've never had an auditorium, and most schools do have an auditorium. And I know there's always people that's expressed that we should have an auditorium in Taylorville, and we're finally going to see that come to fruition. And so the final details are still being hammered out. And as you mentioned, there's been a couple of different renderings that had been proposed. But at the end of the day, what this means is we're gonna see a $9 million investment that will improve our school. It will bring construction jobs. It will make Taylorville High School and Taylorville schools an even better place to come and go to school by having this fine arts auditorium. And we're really excited about, what this means, again, not only to the school, but it's also going to mean what it means to the community for just those, when you're trying to attract a great workforce to come and live in your town or live in your community, you want to have nice things that people are proud of. And if one of those certainly being a nice auditorium. And so that's, there's some benefit to that of just having that auditorium, being in a town or a school that has a nice auditorium. But then the other benefit we're going to have for a couple of years is the construction of that, because you've got construction jobs. And, every time you've got construction jobs, well, that means you've got people either in town or coming into town who are working on these construction projects.
Yeah. So definitely.
They got to get gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those people bring an economic impact as well. And so we're really excited about that. And, at the end of the day, Taylorville is going to have a nice fine arts auditorium when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing how it comes out. I mean, I remember seeing the renderings, and yeah, it looked nice, looked very Taylorville-ish, with the purple and gold. So yeah, can't wait to see how that comes out. A $9 million investment. How long do you expect it would take to kind of get the return on investment in the end?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long construction. I think they said it's about a year to fully, build everything. I mean, there's obviously a lot of prep work that goes into it, and then the construction itself, and then all the everything on the interior. So it'll be a great project, and it will provide, that alone will provide a lot of jobs in our community for a long time.
All right, so we'll watch that play out. Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, is my guest in this part of the show. Now's a good time to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about some other economic development efforts happening throughout the county. Interested to hear about all of that, and that'll be right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn and beans lower. Chicago wheat a bit higher. September corn down 7, 507. December corn down 6.5, 530. March corn 543 and a quarter down 7.5. September beans down 7.5, 1246 and 3/4. November beans down 7 and a quarter, 1258 and 3/4. January beans 1273 and a half down 7 and a quarter. September Chicago wheat 733 and a half up 3. September KC wheat 795 and a quarter up 3 and a quarter. Livestock trade, August feeders up 75 cents, 333.50. August live cattle 220 even up $1.52. October lean hogs down 22 cents, 80.67. Energy market, October Brent crude oil up $1.17, 89.01. Checking the markets on this Thursday morning, you're listening to the RFD Radio Network.
Brian Barnhart here, the voice of the Fighting Illini, inviting Illini Nation to listen for Fighting Illini sports this season on New Country 104.1. From every kickoff during football season to the closing horn of every basketball game, you'll hear them in Christian County and surrounding area on your home for Fighting Illini sports, New Country 104.1. Follow the orange and blue and go Illini.
Brought to you by Bob Ridings and Secret Lee's Insurance Services, both in Pana, and Adam Jeffrey with Craig's Realtors in Taylorville.
Hi everyone, Nicole Patrick here, your local country financial representative at 1305 West Bresser in Taylorville. I'm proud to recognize the Tornado student athletes that represent our community by being the exclusive sponsor of the WTIM Nicole Patrick Country Financial Player of the Game. During Tornado Sports broadcasts this school year, WTIM announcers will select a player at the end of each game who will receive a certificate for being named our Player of the Game. Good luck to all the teams this season, and go Tornadoes!
Double your impact with sight and sound. Reach customers through our 6 regional radio stations, plus capture their attention with our 36 by 72-inch digital billboard right on Route 29 in Taylorville. That's nearly 11,000 drivers seeing your message every single day, while they're already listening to your radio ads. Ready to maximize your reach? Call your regional radio account manager today and put your business in front of eyes and ears across Central Illinois. Regional radio is where your message gets noticed.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
WTIM.
Back on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. It's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. And let's talk about some other big economic development projects happening throughout the county. I want to start in Sharpsburg, where it looks like Legacy Grain is doing something over there. Tell our listeners about that.
Yeah, some folks may have noticed some cranes and some crane work going on in Sharpsburg if you've driven along Route 29 in the last week or so. And yeah, they've got a major project that they are planning there in Sharpsburg. And Reed, we're really excited about this project because this is an enterprise zone project. And in 2025, the Christian County Economic Development Corporation worked with the county and local governments to expand our enterprise zone to include Sharpsburg and to include Edinburgh, as Sloan's was going in and Midwest Meter was expanding in Edinburgh, and we got those projects in the enterprise zone, and now we're seeing another enterprise zone project and really benefiting another local company, and especially a local ag company with Legacy Grain in Sharpsburg. So they're doing some major renovations in Sharpsburg. It involves a little bit of tear down and also some new construction, but we look for that project to, again, really benefit and help not only themselves, but also all of our farmers, local farmers who rely on, great businesses like Legacy Grain and their facility in Sharpsburg. And again, this is another big win for the county.
All right, so there's that work over there in Sharpsburg, and certainly seems very, I would say, logical, considering what happens a lot in Central Illinois with agriculture and all of that. Over to Pana, I know there's some work going on there in the downtown area. Where are we at with that?
Yeah. So the just a major redevelopment going on in downtown Pana. It's very, very exciting. Pana is getting a new Route 29 on the north side of town. That construction project is going to go on until next summer. And then downtown, the downtown revitalization project is going down there, a multi-million-dollar project, again, another enterprise zone project that we're, again, helping that developer. We're helping the city of Pana with this development, and it's going to provide some much needed improvement to not only businesses there, but also some residential units as well. And that's one of the things we constantly hear is we need, good, residential development. And so there's going to be some apartments and condos involved in this as well. So it's really going to, again, be just a great addition and a great change to downtown Pana.
Yeah, and you mentioned the apartments as well. I know, the housing market has, has its ups and downs, and maybe people need to move, but a house doesn't really work. I would imagine then, having those apartments is going to make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's, it's something that the people have asked for. We've got Pana, the Pana Community Hospital. They have a lot of workers that come in and out, and we want to make sure they've got a safe and good quality place to live. And we know that people like that will utilize it. The Great Western Products, we actually toured that last week. They've got a lot of people that come in and need good housing. And so, yeah, it's a great, another great way that we're advancing things in Christian County.
That's right. So you've got that in Pana, and then we head a little bit north to Assumption and the subdivision work going on there. Now, I've talked about this a little bit before with Derek Page of Assumption Community Pride. What more do you have to add on that and where we're at now?
Yeah, and Derek did a great job when he was mayor of Assumption, helping get this project, off the ground. And they basically, the city developed their own small subdivision. There's a total of 16 lots there. 2 of those lots have been sold. There's homes that are spec homes that are under construction there right now. Again, addressing the housing need that we have in Assumption. Assumption's got some major employers, and we want to make sure that people have a place to live here in Christian County. And so really excited about the Baxmeyer subdivision and those homes that are going up. And it's just beginning, just the start for more great things to come in Assumption.
All right, so we've looked around in Christian County, and in terms of getting to these various places, I know IDOT has its big multi-year program, $50 billion, and actually a little more than that. That's something we've talked about before. What's the status of all of that work as we speak?
Yeah, so Route 29 is under construction in Pana. We've talked about that, and folks that certainly have seen that, and they're going bit by bit, and that's a complete rebuild. I mean, it's tearing out the old road. It's tearing out the gutters, sidewalks. It's putting in entirely new from the northern boundary of Pana all the way to where Route 29 meets Route 16 in Pana. And that will take a year and a half. That won't be completed until 2027. We also know Taylorville, Route 29 through Taylorville is in the multi-year program. We don't know yet if that is going to start in 2027 or 2028. Of course, we're pressing IDOT to start that 2027. They've told us they'll probably do that in 3 segments. And then Lincoln Trail will be after that as well. That's also in the multi-year program. And Mount Auburn Road already got done. That was part of this year's program, and that has been improved as well. So IDOT's got a lot going on in Christian County.
Yeah, and it seems like, a big part of what you folks look at the CCEDC, right? I mean, you've got, you've got the employers, the housing, and, now the roads, obviously, to get to all of those different places.
It all works together, and that's why we have the Christian County Economic Development Corporation. We're a not-for-profit organization of government and business leaders in the county, and that's why it's important you have everybody working together so that we improve our roads, improve our businesses, because at the end of the day, we're here to help the companies that are here, help them grow their businesses, and attract the businesses that aren't here yet to come to Christian County, because it is a fantastic place to grow. Your business. It's a fantastic place to live, and we're very excited about what's going on in Christian County.
And we'll put a bow on it like that right here. Matt Hart, Executive Director of the Christian County Economic Development Corporation, has been my guest in this part of the show. Matt, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
Yes, and thank you for listening here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station. We'll be back with plenty more tomorrow. Have a great day.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5